So tonight we are going to finish this series. It's a 3-part series. The first week we talked about consistency in our faith. And then last week we talked about consistency in our character. And tonight we're going to polish it all off with consistency in relationships. So when we think about this, it's the question that kept popping into my mind is, who is someone that has been that steady presence in my life through all the highs and lows, through everything that I've been through? Like, who are those people that have been there for me? And my wife is at the top of that list. Like, she has seen me through the darkest days of my life. And she's seen me through the happiest days of my life. Like, she's given me the 5 greatest gifts I've ever received in my life outside of receiving Christ. And that's my boys. And I just had a time to reflect this week on all the things that we've been through in our relationship. We've been married 15 years, and it's been amazing. So she's at the top of that list. The other one that always comes to mind, and that kept coming to mind, is my mom. My mom is my biggest cheerleader that I've ever had in my life. Like, I could do no wrong in her eyes. Like, it's amazing. And so she's always given me like words of affirmation. She's always given me support, but she's always there. Like, both of them. They're so consistently there for me through everything that I have going on. And it means the world to me. And so I want you guys to also think of that person. Like, who is that person that's always there, that's always been there, that you can always count on? Maybe it's your dad, maybe it's your mom, maybe it's a sibling or a best friend, whoever it may be. Keep that person in the back of your mind, because we're going to circle back to that when I close out at the end of the night. So, and then also think about that, like, what makes them that steady presence? What makes them, when you think about this, like, what brings them to your mind? What is it that they do that is like, hey, they're at the top of this list? Because I can probably tell you, it's not they're unusually talented, or they have all this charisma, or have these dramatic moments of like, hey, I'm there. Like, it's the little things, right? It's like the consistency, always showing up, always there when you need them. And then it's just being reliable over time. Like, that's a really big thing with me. Like, I need those guys around me that I can call and that I know at a drop of a hat will be there. And I have some of those guys in my life. But I also think I discount the others that I have in my life with my wife and my mom and my dad and all of that. And I've been so blessed to have that, because I don't know if a lot of people get to experience what God has provided to me in those areas. And I'm so thankful for that. So as we're going into this series, so to end the series, consistency in relationship is about building trust and strength. And we're going to talk about how do we get to that point. So today we're going to see that God calls us to continuously show up, not just for others, but it has to be for Him. So we're going to kick off tonight talking about faithfulness builds trust. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 15. And we'll go to verse 58. Sorry, guys, I'm going to take a lot of breaks tonight and take a drink, because I am still dealing with whatever dryness that I had the last week or so. I don't know what it is, but it is killing me. I think it's the weather change, how cold it got. It's been getting me. So we're going to start 15:58. So, my dear brothers and sisters, be strong and immovable. Always work enthusiastically for the Lord, for you know that nothing you do for the Lord is ever useless. So these are the words of a man calling believers to have a spiritual backbone, to have immovable faithfulness. And that's Paul that writes this, right? And Paul has wrote some amazing things in Scripture. But as we're going down through this, the same principles apply to relationships. And we're going to see how those apply to relationships. So first off, relationships thrive on dependability. I think it's hard to have a relationship with somebody if you can't depend on them and you can't trust them. I don't keep those relationships if I don't have trust with you. It's just so hard for me to do that because trust is a huge thing for me. And so people need to know that they can count on you. It's the same thing with me. If I say something, I need to keep my word. If somebody says something to me, that's my expectation. So we need to be dependable in that way. So you think about like today's world, like loyalty seems like it's so rare because people are so wishy-washy and flaky and like back and forth. Like they'll tell you one thing and do another, or they'll tell you one thing here and then tell another group of people something completely different. And it's so inconsistent. And I think it jades our outlook on relationships, especially as men. Women do so much better than men in the relationship aspect because they're communicators. They have actual feelings, right? Like they have those things I don't possess. And so it's really hard for us because it's easy for us to just put up a wall. Like you've burnt me once, like it's never going to happen again. And then that kind of compounds to like the people that come after it. Like, hey, I met this new guy. What is his intention? I'm trying to figure out what the problem is before I can see the good in people, right? So I think men have that tendency a lot to compress everything that they've dealt with in their life and observe that in other men, right? So the trust factor immediately is not there. Whereas like I can take my wife somewhere and she can have a best friend in 10 minutes. It's insane. And I can talk to anybody about anything, but it takes me a while to get to that point, to get comfortable with people and to get to a point where like, hey, I genuinely can hang out with this person. When I do get to that point, like, it's not like I'm throwing everything in and we're best friends at that point. Like I'm still cautious. And I don't know if that's the same with you guys in your relationships or when you meet new people, or if you're struggling to find relationship with other guys, or if you're struggling to find relationship with other believers. But that's one area that men struggle in the most. So we need to have men that'll say, I'll be there, and actually show up. And we need to be the same. If we tell somebody we're going to be somewhere, actually do it. We need a man who can keep their word even when it's inconvenient. Even when it's something like, hey, something came up, but I had already told this person I'm going to do this. I'm not going to flake on them because they're counting on me and I need to be dependable. That needs to be our mindset. And then a man who can be counted on in the darkest seasons, not just the fun ones. If I can call you at 3 a.m, you answer the phone, we're somewhere, right? And vice versa. You can call me middle of the night, I'm answering the phone to see what's going on because I know there might be an issue. Those are the guys that I want around me. It's great to have fun and do all the things, but to build a deep relationship, you need to be dependable and you need to have that feeling towards others as well. So the thing here is showing up consistently, especially when it's inconvenient, is one of the most Christ-like things that we can do. Because every single day that we go through our life, Christ shows up for us in so many different ways that we don't even think about. And this is one of the areas that I tell my boys pretty consistently is like all the little things in our life that we just overlook or that don't really mean a whole lot to us. Those are the things that I want you to be thankful for. Find the time to say, thank you, God, for that I have socks, that I have shoes, that I have anything in my life. I want to thank him and praise him for those moments. Because even having a pair of socks for some people in the world is a wealth, right? That they're not afforded. And we take that for granted. It's so easy for us to like, oh, I need something else. I need this. This isn't good enough. But there are people that would kill for the life that a lot of us get to live. Even in the situations and the circumstances that we have in this country are far better than some areas around the world. And we need to keep that in perspective and keep that in the front of our mind that like we are truly blessed to live in this country. So let's talk about the power of presence. So if we're being honest, sometimes as men, we feel pressure to fix everyone's problems. I have fallen into this trap with my wife so many times. She's like, hey, I got to vent about this. Like, okay, this is how you fix it. You got to do X, Y. And she's like, shut up. Like, I don't want you to fix my problems. Like, I just want to vent. And it's like, it took me a while to understand that, where it's like, yeah, I really have to think about these things where it's like, okay, I have to just sit back. Sometimes I have to say a prayer in my head because I'm like, hey, I could solve this in 5 minutes and we could be done with it and we could move on. But that's not what she needs in those moments. And the way that she's wired and the way that, like, Miss Crystal said it just, and she uses this analogy all the time, like, women are like spaghetti, right? And it's like, every emotion and everything, it just touches and intertwines, and like, we have the boxes, right? I just keep it for what it is. And like, that makes perfect sense to me, because it's like the things that like I see women struggle with in their relationship, I'm like, this shouldn't even be a problem. Like, I've fought my best friends and we were hanging out 5 minutes later. Like, it's the dumbest stuff that we get into these major arguments. And it's like, we turn around like, dude, I love you. I'm sorry I hit you, or vice versa. Like, that could never happen with women. Like, they are so emotionally attached. And so in those moments where she's coming to me, I've had to learn to like shut my mouth, bite my tongue, and just sit back and listen. And it's hard. It's so hard for me sometimes. And like I said, I've struggled in this for so long. But when I think about that, just when you're in those relationships, presence often matters more than the performance. Just being there means so much more than what you're offering as, here's my advice to fix it. I've sat with friends in just complete silence, just to be there. And sometimes, like, I've been the one that like, hey, I just need to be here with somebody. We don't have to say anything, but I'm going through something. I don't want to talk about it, but I need the presence of somebody here. I don't need you to fix what I have going on. I don't need you to tell me something profound that's going to change my life. I just need you to be here. So we have to know and pick up on those cues when those are our moments, to just be around somebody and be in community with them. So sometimes the most powerful things you can do are just the simplest things, right? Like I just said, sitting with somebody when you guys don't say anything to one another. It could be just simply listening, letting them vent, letting them get those things off their chest, and just actually listening to what they're saying. It could be just standing beside them, right? Like just being there and letting them know like, hey, there's a presence here with you. If you need me, I'm here, but I'm not going anywhere. Or just show up when you say you would, right? If you say something, keep your word. As a man, we don't have a whole lot other than that. We have our honesty and we can keep our word. Like, that is something that we have to practice consistently. And I promise you, your life will be a lot better. If you don't have to worry about the lies you're telling around town and you can keep your word, you're already ahead of the game. So you don't have to have those perfect words. You don't have to have that perfect plan all the time. And you don't have to preach and be louder and come up with all these solutions that you think will fix the problem. Because a lot of times that's not helpful. That's not what's needed in those moments. God's faithfulness is often felt through his people. Through consistent friendships and consistent love and consistent support. Consistency is what it's all about. And again, I keep going over the same thing: consistency, consistency, consistency. But that's what we need to do. When we get to that point where we're always consistent, which we touched on last week, that just becomes who we are. That's our second nature. That's now who I am. I've been consistent so long in these things that I'm doing. That's just what I do now. I don't remember what I did previously because I've been in the Word. I've consistently been growing in this area. This is where my growth is happening. This is how I react to these things now. This is how I am in these moments because this is how I've been for so long. So people aren't looking for perfect friends. They're not looking for us to be these people that they can look at like, hey, that's my best friend. They're perfect. They know all the right answers. They're just looking for present ones. They just need us to be there and show up when we say we're going to show up. So let's look at Proverbs 27:17. And this is something I think as men that we hold on to, we always look at, and we're going to talk about this one a little bit more. So Proverbs 27:17. As iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. How many times have you heard that verse as a man? Right? Iron sharpens iron. What does that actually mean? If you really take that into, put it into perspective, what does that actually mean? Iron doesn't sharpen itself from a single strike. It happens through repeated contact. Repeated contact, consistency. It happens through friction, high pressure. It happens through, most importantly, the sparks that happen from it and consistency. It's all of those things consistently doing the same things. That's how we get to the point, like when we can talk about iron sharpens iron. It's easy just to come in here, sit here for a week, like iron sharpens iron, I'm ready to go out. That's not how it works. We have to be here. We have to put in the work. We have to do what we're called to do, right? We have to consistently sit with other men of like faith and just get into the issues that we're dealing with. If we keep it surface level, what are we really sharpening? Like, let's be honest. It sounds good. It sounds fantastic. Like, I went to men's group on Tuesday. Iron sharpens iron. But what did you take away from the time that you had here? You have an opportunity with men that are actually opening up and dealing with things and being vulnerable. And maybe that's not your personality. And I don't want to put shame. I don't want to put it to a point where like you feel attacked in any way. I just want to encourage you that we have a platform to really put this into work, to really live out Proverbs 27. We can sharpen each other, but we have to do it consistently. We have to do it on those days that we don't feel like getting out of the house. We have to do it on the days we just don't feel like coming to group. We just don't feel like coming to church. I cannot tell you how many times I've had a conversation with men and like, dude, I didn't even feel like being here tonight because I was drained. But I leave out of this door feeling recharged and I feel a sense of purpose. But you have to be consistent. And you think about it in the sense of like, Satan doesn't want you to be around this group. Satan doesn't want you to consistently be around men of like faith. So any excuse that he can put into your mind to keep you from coming to this group, coming to church, whatever it may be, pray on that. Why am I feeling this way? What's going to happen if I don't show up to the thing that I know that I gained something from? Or what's going to happen if I just suck it up and go? So think about that. Because if we're really going to talk about iron sharpening iron, that also convicts us to put action forth as well. So when we talk about how the brotherhood side of it, it grows in the same ways as we're talking about how iron sharpens iron. It's through routine connection, connecting together consistently, showing up to group week after week that we just talked about, being here because we know the work that's being done by you guys at these tables, the friendships that are happening out of this group, consistently being here, getting together to go to lunch. Hey man, I've had a rough week. You want to meet me to go hang out for an hour and go grab a burger? Whatever it is, you're building relationship, checking in on one another. This is something I think we've done really well in. We can always improve, but I am so encouraged by the prayer requests and the vulnerability that we are having in our group app and how many people actually step up. And hey, I need this. Can you help me move this bed? Hey, I'll be there in 15 minutes. Like, that's amazing to me that you have a community at your fingertips that you could ask anybody, anything, and guys are consistently showing up. I think that's fantastic. So this is one I think we're doing really well on. But the last one that I came up with, asking tough questions. Are we in relationship with one another and comfortable enough with each other to ask those tough questions? Or to check us when we know, like, hey, how is that biblical? Let's talk about that. Are we able to call each other out and hold each other accountable? Or are we just here to feel good after we read a couple of the questions and give some responses? Or are we actually willing to put in the work? Because it's a lot more than just coming here for an hour and a half. If you really want it, you have to be consistent in it. You have to keep showing up. You have to keep doing the work. You have to get in your word. You have to pray with each other. I'm not telling you guys, hey, you don't pray with each other, like it's not going to work. But you just individually, you have to be in prayer. There's so much more that goes into relationship than just having fun together. So you cannot build a strong relationship with that occasional effort. Occasionally I'll do this. Sometimes I'll do this. I don't know how far that's going to get you. Accountability only works when it's consistent. Building that brotherhood, like we had talked about, that iron sharpens iron, only works when we consistently push forward. So think about that. Whenever you hear that verse, whenever Proverbs 27:17 comes up, put it into perspective. What does that actually mean? Because there's a lot of work and a lot of things to unpack when we talk about that verse. So the last piece on this is you cannot sharpen somebody from a distance. You can't consistently sharpen somebody from a distance. And you cannot be sharpened if you're distant, if you isolate, if you put up those walls. You can't be reached. So if that's something that you struggle in, or an area that you struggle in, recognize that. Sometimes you just have to be vulnerable and you have to take a step of faith. Pray through it. Find a brother in here to pray with. Like, hey, this is what I'm going through. I'm having a problem opening up, and I want to. I just don't know how. Let's have that real conversation. That's a lot easier than giving some fluff answers and some of the questions. I'm not telling you guys to, spill your entire hearts while you're in here. But if we're going to be here, you might as well do some work, right? We might as well make ourselves better and push ourselves forward. We're already using an hour and a half of our night, or 2 hours of our night sometimes, depending on how long you stay here after group finishes. Let's actually put in the effort and the work to do it. That's my encouragement to you guys. I love seeing you guys here every single week. Let's make it consistent. Let's be here. Let's be present. It's a lot more than just showing up. So let's talk about consistency and community and how that fuels endurance. So we're going to jump to Hebrews 10. And we'll start in verse 23. Hebrews 10:23. Let us hold tightly without wavering to the hope we affirm, for God can be trusted to keep his promise. Let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works. Let us not neglect our meeting together, as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of his return is drawn near. So when we think about a man, when we waver, right? Another man can come by and lift him up. When we think about when a man loses focus, we have brothers alongside of us that can remind us of his truth. And when one man grows weary, we can come alongside and speak courage and speak life into him. Think of those opportunities that we have to be a blessing to our brothers in Christ. There are so many of them. There are so many men within this church that don't have consistent direction. There are so many men in this community that don't have consistent direction. If we put in a little bit of effort we could make a huge impact on the men of our community. So faithful community keeps us from drifting into isolation. That is a huge piece. That's a huge thing there. The isolation piece is huge. So the isolation is where inconsistency thrives. Isolation is the devil's playground. That is where he has you exactly where he wants you. When you're disconnected from all those things, you're by yourself, you're putting walls up because you don't want anybody else to come in, Satan's got you. He's working on you in that way. And he has his way with you in those moments because you have no backup. You have nobody else that can come alongside and like, hey, this is what I'm going through. Help me out. Can you pray for me? Pray over me. If nobody's praying for you, nobody knows what's going on, nobody can come and help you. Satan wants us to be isolated from other men, especially Christian men. He wants us to be on our own, doing things that, hey, I'm a man, I'm going to stand on my own 2 feet and I can figure this out. That is the mindset that Satan wants us to have. Because that's where the work is done. That's where the attacks come in. That's where all the things that he wants us to view, all the things that he wants to throw our way, it's easy for it to get us in those moments. When we're in isolation and we are cutting everybody else off, I guarantee those are the times that you're your weakest in those moments. So we have to recognize when we isolate. Why do we isolate? What are we isolating from? We're putting our trust in Christ, but then we're also turning around and isolating ourselves away from Christ's body. We can't do that. We have to keep showing up. We have to keep stepping up. We have to keep being consistent. The enemy works the hardest when we're alone. Satan works the hardest when we're by ourselves. But a consistent circle of men will strengthen each other and lift us up. So we're going to go to Colossians 3. We're going to go to verse 12. We're going to talk about clothing ourselves with love. Colossians 3, verse 12. Since God chose you to be the holy people he loves, you must clothe yourself with tender-hearted mercy, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Make allowances for each other's faults and forgive anyone who offends you. Remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. Above all, clothe yourself with love, which binds us all together in perfect harmony. And let the peace that comes from Christ rule in your hearts. For as members of one body, you are called to live in peace and always be thankful. Let the message about Christ in all its richness fill your lives. Teach and counsel each other with all the wisdom he gives. Sing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs to God with thankful hearts. And whatever you do or say, do it as a representative of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks through him to God the Father. So Paul tells us here to put on compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. And then he says, above all else, put on love. When we talk about put on, notice how that wording is. When he says put on, that means daily. We're putting these things on daily. We are intentionally putting these things on. And we're repeatedly doing it. We're consistently doing it. So relationships are not kept strong by occasional affection. And it is okay for us as men to show affection towards other men. It is okay to say, hey, Octavius, I love you, dude. Dennis, I love you, right? Like, I have so much love for the people in this room. I can't even explain how this has changed my life. And I'm not ashamed to tell men that I love them, because I do. I love Paul because of how much he's poured into me and how much time and effort and wisdom that he bestowed upon me. I have so much love for him. I love John. That's grown to be one of my best friends. Just sitting here being honest with you guys, like the last year of growth of John and mine's relationship has been huge. And for those of you guys that don't know, like he'll sit here with me in this room until 11:30, almost 12 o'clock some nights. And we'll just talk. And he'll give wise counsel, like, hey, what do you think about this? And he'll give biblical answers. Those are the guys that I need around me. Dave and Caleb put in so much work in this group. So much work. Again, some of my best friends. No, we don't hang out all the time or do all these things together, but we actually spend the time when it actually matters. I see Dave consistently playing basketball. Like Caleb and I are in different ministries together. Like these are the guys that I need around me and the reason why this group is successful. I always pray that I don't want any self-gratification for this group, but God has placed these men in my life to do that, to help through this process, to push this group forward. And it means so much to me. So we have to get away from men can't show other men affection, because we can. We need to. We need to tell them, hey, I appreciate you guys. It means so much to me that you do the things that you do, that you show up for me consistently, that you're always there when I need you. It means a lot. So those relationships are sustained by steady choices. And what I mean by that is choosing patience again. It's by choosing forgiveness again. Choosing humility again. And choosing kindness again. It's consistently doing those things. If you can find yourself doing them over and over and over, you're going to have a great marriage. You're going to have great friendships. You're going to have great relationships. And these are areas that I need to work on in my life with my wife specifically, because I'm not the most patient person. I'm not the most forgiving person. Like I don't have the most humility, and I definitely am not the kindest person all the time. I can work in every single one of those areas, and that's the reason why they're on here. This is my heart on this paper for you guys, of areas that like, hey, I need to work on these. I understand that. But me just saying it is not going to make a difference. I actually have to do something about it. I have to take the time to get into the Word to figure out these problems. And notice how I didn't say, hey, I need to take these time to myself to figure out how to fix this problem, because I can't fix it. I don't know how to fix it. This is where I can do the work to fix it. This is where I need to find my source for how to fix these issues. So love is not proven by those big moments, those big dramatic moments. That's not when love is proven. It's proven in steady, everyday acts of grace. Being graceful in the way that we speak, being graceful in the way that we interact with one another, being graceful in the way that we think. That is when we start to see that love is proven. The consistency over time. So consistency is God's love in motion. Think about that. Think of how much love that God has for us. All of the things that He's done for us throughout our life. But dying on a cross and putting His Son on that cross for us is the ultimate act of love. So to sum all of this up, consistency in relationship is about showing up. We have to show up. We have to step up. It's keeping your word, and it's loving others with endurance. Again and again and again. We have to keep showing up. Faithful presence is more powerful than perfect performance. Think about that. We're never going to be perfect. We can't change that. There's nothing that we can do to be perfect. We can try and emulate Christ every single day. We're going to fall short. But we can keep getting up, and we can keep pushing forward. Just got to go one more day. And that's what I asked you guys last week. That was our challenge of last week. Find one discipline in your life that you're struggling in and do it for 7 days consistently. After you get to the 7th day, which should be today, do it one more day. When you get to tomorrow, do it one more day. When you get to Thursday, do it one more day. After enough time, it's going to be who you become because you've consistently been doing those things, and that's just who you are. You have to keep working. You have to keep going, even on those days when it's the hardest to do it. Give it to God and know that that is our source for everything that we do. So my challenge for you guys tonight, I want you guys to stay on that 7-day challenge and work one more day tomorrow. Find that discipline, what it is. And you might have forgotten about it. Get back on, start from day 1, get to day 7. Consistently every single day. But the challenge for this week, be intentionally consistent in one key relationship this week. One relationship that's struggling. You might have a fantastic relationship with your best friend, with your wife. Maybe that's not the relationship that you're being called to work on. Find one relationship that you can be more consistent in. Choose who the person is. Think of that person when I asked the question at the beginning. Who's that person that always shows up, but I could do better? I could give back more. Your father, your mother, friend, your spouse, your kids, whoever it might be, identify who that person is. And this is how we started. Check in on them daily. Hey, I'm just going to shoot you a text. I'm going to give you a phone call. And I will tell you guys, a phone call does a lot more than just shooting a text. I appreciate so much more when somebody reaches out and calls me than just sending me a text message. And I'm not saying that I'm not thankful for a text message, because I am. But the time that it takes for somebody to hey, I'm just going to make a phone call really quick. I just want to hear your voice. If I can hear your voice, it's a lot different for me, and it hits a lot different than reading your words. So think about that. When you have that person, I'm going to check on them daily. It doesn't take long to, a 30-second call. Hey, I just want to call you, tell you I love you, miss you. I got to go. I just was thinking about you. I fail miserably in this area. And that's the reason why I came up with this challenge. I think about people all the time. Every single day I think about somebody from my past, or somebody that I haven't talked to in a while or seen in a little while. Friends from the church that have left. I think about them all the time. And I tell my wife, hey, can you remind me about X, Y, and Z? She does consistently remind me, hey, did you call this person? Did you text her? No, leave me alone. I'll get there when I get there. I still have not called them, right? I've had people on my mind for 3 months straight that I have not sent a simple message out to. And in those moments, a text message is a lot better than not saying anything at all. I might not have time to call you. In my mind is what I'm saying to myself. I have time for what I want to make time for. So this is an area of struggle for me, and that's why I wanted to send the challenge out to you guys, because I am going to try and be more consistent. And I have multiple people in my mind that I can reach out to just say, hey, I love you. I've been thinking about you. I miss you. I haven't seen you in so long. Whatever it might be, whatever message you have for them, find that person, check on them daily, send them encouragement, call them. Like I said, call the person, listen to their voice, let them hear your voice. See how that does. If you can consistently do that. You might get annoyed with the person by day 7, I've talked to you every single day. But they can never say, hey, they didn't love me. They didn't reach out to me, they didn't try. Pray for them. Pray for that person consistently. And serve them in any way that you can, even the smallest things. Just do anything that you can to serve that relationship. That's my challenge to you guys today. Identify that person and consistently work on that relationship, whatever it may be. Show up with strength. Show up with consistency, and keep stepping up.
If you're a man residing in the Anchorage, Alaska area seeking solid biblical teachings and genuine biblical brotherhood, we invite you to join us on Tuesday evenings from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. We're located in the Student Union of Mountain City Church. If you'd like to contact us and find out more information, please email us at men@mountaincity.church.